Welcome to The Explainer. So, how does a company that's been around for 150 years, all the way from Indiana, suddenly become one of the most valuable corporations on the planet? Today, we're going to unpack the story of Eli Lilly, a company that isn't just changing medicine, it's actually reshaping the global economy.
All right, let's just start with a number that's almost impossible to wrap your head around: $1 trillion. Eli Lilly recently just blew past that valuation, and they're the first pharmaceutical company in history to ever do it. That doesn't just make them a healthcare giant, it puts them in this super exclusive club with companies like Apple and Microsoft.
So what's behind this incredible explosion? Well, it really comes down to one revolutionary drug. It's called tirzepatide. You might know it as Mounjaro for diabetes or Zepbound for weight loss. Get this, it now makes up a staggering 37% of the company's entire revenue. Just think about that for a second. Over a third of all their money is coming from just this one single compound.
But this isn't just some business story. It's really a story about a whole new era in medicine. And to really understand how Lilly got to this point, we've got to go back, way back to the beginning.
It all kicked off in 1876, right in Indianapolis. The founder, Colonel Eli Lilly, he was a chemist and a veteran of the American Civil War. And from that one little pharmacy, the company has just exploded into this global force, with its products now reaching people in about 125 countries. But here's the thing, a trillion-dollar valuation doesn't just happen overnight. Lilly's success today is really built on this long history of being right at the forefront of some of the biggest medical breakthroughs we've ever seen. And you can see this clear pattern here, right? They tackle these massive public health crises. In 1923, they were the first to commercialize insulin, which basically turned a death sentence into a manageable condition. Then, decades later, they mass-produced 60% of the Salk polio vaccine. They played a huge part in helping conquer a disease that absolutely terrified the world. But of course, whenever you have this kind of massive success, it's often followed by some pretty significant controversies. And let me tell you, Lilly's story is definitely no exception. Back in the late 80s, Prozac wasn't just another best-selling drug. It was a cultural phenomenon. It completely changed the way we talk about mental health, and it dragged the conversation about depression out of the shadows and into the mainstream like never before. But right on the heels of that incredible success came one of the company's absolute darkest chapters, the huge scandal around its powerful antipsychotic drug, Zyprexa, and how they were illegally marketing it. So in 2009, the company had to plead guilty and pay over $1.4 billion. At the time, that was the largest corporate criminal fine in U.S. history. And the charge? They were illegally promoting Zyprexa for uses that were never approved, including for dementia in the elderly.
The fallout from this was just immense. It forced a public reckoning that went all the way to the top. The CEO at the time, John Leachlighter, he had to admit the damage, calling it a blemish and promising it would never, ever happen again.
The company has also faced years and years of intense pressure from the public and politicians over the very product that started it all, insulin. The criticism was all about its price, which was just skyrocketing, until finally in 2023, the company put a cap on out-of-pocket costs. And that brings us right back to today, and to the incredible science that's powering that trillion-dollar price tag. So the drugs at the center of all this are called GLP-1 agonists. The easiest way to think about them is like a key that perfectly fits a special lock in your gut. They copy a natural hormone, and they basically tell your body, hey, you're full. And they help it manage blood sugar way more effectively. It's kind of like a biological hack that's totally changing our relationship with food. Okay, and you're not going to believe where this all started. The origin story for this medical revolution is wild. The compound that led to the very first drug in this class wasn't cooked up in some high-tech lab. It was discovered in the venom of the Gila monster. Just a perfect example of nature giving us the blueprint. And the financial impact? It's been nothing short of explosive. This chart here shows the revenue almost doubling in just a couple of years. That straight-up vertical line, that's what a modern blockbuster drug looks like. So they're dominating the diabetes and obesity space. What could possibly be the next frontier for this trillion-dollar titan? Well, Lilly is already using all this momentum to go after other huge health challenges. Their pipeline is just packed. It's led by a drug called donanemab, which is a super anticipated new treatment for Alzheimer's, and they're also pouring money into research for complex autoimmune diseases. When you take a step back and look at the whole picture, Eli Lilly's story is this incredible 150-year journey. It's a story of life-saving breakthroughs, yeah, but also some really serious ethical mistakes.
And now, it's about a powerful new generation of drugs that could, once again, completely reshape public health all over the world.
And all of this leaves us with the trillion-dollar question that goes way beyond just one company. It seems like we're entering a new era of miracle drugs, but it forces all of us to ask, are these miracles for everybody, or are they just for the people who can afford them? Thanks for joining this explainer.